Let's see if it shows up. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Welcome to the Stay With Me Read Along live show, which it was definitely interesting having to reread these books again. It was a wild ride. It was a wild ride the first time, honestly, but.
Was this your first time rereading them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I read them I think February 1st last year.
Okay.
So it's almost exactly a year. But while everyone starts coming in, let us know what you're reading, what you're currently reading. Are you currently reading anything?
I am currently reading Serpent and the Wings of Night still. I am almost finished.
Nice.
And I am enjoying it. It's really good. I think it is worth all the hype.
Yeah. Did you read her Daughter of No Worlds series?
I did. I read the first book. I thought it was okay. I never moved on to the next one.
That's exactly how I felt.
Yeah, nothing against it. I thought it was fine, just not in the mood, and I haven't picked up the second.
Yeah, I think I read Serpent and the Wings of Night first. I think that's what and then I went and read Daughter of No Worlds, and I was like, kind of like the Serpent and the Wings of Night.
Totally different feel.
Oh yeah,
but definitely good.
Did you read the novella?
Yeah. I did not.
Yeah, but I think that's a cool novella to introduce. Oh, you have the paperback already?
It came today. I ordered it last night and it came so early this morning.
Oh my gosh, I haven't even started. But
I was on a cliffhanger, so I was ready.
Oh yeah. A pretty big cliffhanger, I'm not gonna lie.
That's what everyone kept saying. So I was like, gotta have the physical book just in case I need to keep going.
I am reading Catherine Cowell's The Arc of Echoes of You.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of the audio for that because she gives me the audio arc because I'm like, I don't know if I can physically read all that in enough time, but that one's going really, really well. But okay, we are here. We're showing 11 people live. We're here for. I love this cover so much. Love the covers. You have all of them, don't you?
I do, and they're like the matte ones, and I had them all. They're all signed by.
Oh, see, I have the shiny one. I met her in Nashville, and so I pre-ordered this, and it comes signed, and she puts her little stamp thing.
Yes, her embosser.
Yeah, which I thought was really, really cool. I think I'm gonna try and get the other two books because I only bought the first one when I saw her. But so this is my first time rereading it since I read it, and then Jess, this is also yours.
Correct. Yeah.
So what did you give the first book the first time, and then when you reread it, what did you give the rating?
I think the first time I read it, I wasn't even sure how to rate it, and I think I gave it 4 stars. On my reread, I might give it 5 stars. I love these characters and the romance and everything. So
yeah, so the first time, I think I binged them back to back to back, within a weekend, because they're so bingeable. Do you know what I mean? You could just pick them up back to back to back. So the first time I think I gave it 5 stars. Well, that's what my Goodreads said, because when I marked it as currently reading again, it was 5 stars. And for the first book, I would give it 5 stars just because this is probably my favorite book in the series.
Same.
Out of all of them. But yeah, I actually didn't know this until I reread it because I was reading. I was listening to the audiobook of this one, but I opened up this and I noticed she has an author note that the way that mental illness is described in this book and the medications and the side effects of the medications, that's actually her experience with them.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
Yeah, was it this book or was it the second book? I just so happened to notice the author note at the very beginning.
Huh.
I thought that was really, oh, you know what? It's not in the first book. It has to be in the second book. Because I noticed on the ebook, that's what it was. But I thought that was actually really cool that she was saying that it was her personal experience with, how medication affects, people differently. And for her, basically what happened to Ollie.
Yeah, it is in the second book.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah, I never thought to even look, but that's really cool.
Yeah, because that's one of the main reasons why I love this series, especially the first book, because of the
mental health.
Yeah, and the talk about it and stuff like that. Hello, everyone. You can let us know in the comments what you rated the first book, if you read it for the first time. I know a lot of people were reading the series on Instagram and stuff. It takes a while for comments to come in. But what did you think about Mia when you first met Mia in the first book?
I think I hated her the first time I read it because I just thought she was so the fact that she said she had no emotion, she almost seems proud of it in the very beginning. Like, I have shut myself off. And I just remember being really frustrated with her in the beginning. And then you obviously, as the story goes, you just fall in love with her. But what about you?
I liked her because I was like, okay, this girl has tried to commit suicide twice. And I was like, I feel like there's something there to like unpack. So I was immediately like intrigued by her. And I was like, I feel like you're gonna have a breakthrough. And I don't know what book it's gonna be in, but I feel like you're gonna have a big breakthrough and I'm gonna love it. That's immediately how I felt about her.
Okay.
Yeah. But oh, yay, I'm glad. I love that book. Lizelle. Oh, okay, okay. We're talking about just the first book right now, but yeah, I'm glad you liked the first book. I still think the first book is like just my favorite. I don't know, just that one scene when Ollie and Mia meet, not even meet, when they see each other
Yes.
in the cafeteria.
Yes. And you just have goosebumps. Yeah. I think the first one's definitely my favorite too.
Just that moment when you like, obviously you see Mia and she has a lot of stuff going on, right? And then you see Ollie and you're like, okay, but who is this guy? Like, why are they having this like intense connection?
And I forgot the first book has it from his point of view when they're in the bathroom at the very end. I don't know if I like skipped that part last time or what, but it was like really cool to see like what he was thinking cuz like she puts him through it in this book in the very beginning.
Yes. And I don't know if you would call it like pining. I don't know what you would call it, but that he recognizes that Mia, I don't know. There's so many things I like that I'm like, my brain is like, okay, calm down, calm down. You can't go through everything really quickly. So I really like obviously Mia, but then when you meet Ollie, you realize he feels like too much. Like
Yeah.
I forgot
Emotional intensity.
yeah, I forgot what the term is. I know it's like empathic, but like there's like a medical term or whatever.
Yeah.
And I thought that was so cool because usually when you read a book, it's flipped. You know, it's usually the main male character that doesn't feel anything, has all of his emotions cut off, and then you have the female character that feels like too much, right?
Yeah.
So I thought that flip was really interesting, which is why I think it pulled me in so much. And I was like, yeah, I'm obsessed with these characters.
And I think Ollie is like one of the only heroes I like that is just like the cinnamon roll type, which I know in the second book that kind of changes, but he's just like a good guy and he just absolutely loves her. And that is normally not like the kind of guys I like to read about, but with Ollie, it's just he's perfect.
Yeah, it was just one of those things when you meet him, you're like, okay, is he a bad boy? Because you see them well, you only really see it from her point of view, and you see it in the cafeteria, and you're like, okay, is he going to be a bad boy? He's like sitting on the table, he has this girl all over him. And then it's like completely different. He has tattoos everywhere, and he's just totally the opposite on the inside.
Yeah.
And I really, really love that. But one thing, I think I've said this in a video before, him and Mia have this moment in his room. Like, you know, when they all get together at night and they go in through the vents and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And they have that moment that they're just sitting together, like she's on top of him with their heads together. And it's like so intense and so emotional, but they're like not having sex at all.
Is that before the kissing scene where she says like kiss me?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah. And I was just like, I don't know how she wrote it that way, but I was like tearing up at that point because I was like, this. I remember reading that from the first time, but like rereading it, I was looking for that scene. Oh, that's one of my favorite scenes,
And
man.
he talks about like the gum, like the mint in his breath and stuff like that. Like it's very like the way it's written, you can completely like picture it. And yeah,
It's
absolutely.
very romantic. Is that the right word? I guess. I don't know, it's just very like it makes you feel like everything. Like you're feeling everything at the same time.
Yes.
Also, I like in this book that each of the chapters, well, I don't remember if the second book, but they have Ollie's poetry
Yeah, all of them do, I think, all of the books.
at the beginning, and I just reading over and seeing what he like what's at the beginning of each chapter, it's totally different because you know what's coming.
But I was so confused the first time I read this because I was just like, "Is he published? Like, what is going on at this?" Because it's, like, from Oliver Masters, and it, like, in the audiobook, it's said in a way, I'm like, "So is he an author? Like, what's going on here?" And
Yeah,
then eventually, like, you find out, but
yeah, yeah. But the first book, man, that gets me with like the breakthrough that she has though. Like, what is it? Halfway through the book? Is it halfway?
it's when maybe a little less than halfway?
Yeah, I know for some reason when I think back to the series, like for some reason I thought she had it at the end, but it's actually a lot sooner because when I was listening to the
Yeah.
audiobook, I was like, "Oh, this came up pretty quickly." But the way that Ollie like breaks down everything,
Yeah.
breaks down her walls, just like
And the fact that he feels so, like, deeply and, like, she makes out with a guy, I'm pretty sure, in front of him and all this stuff, and he is just pining after her. And yeah, ugh,
oh, yeah, she has that Oscar, that security guy at the beginning of the like
yeah.
pulls him into the room, which I think that's the one thing I hate about Mia. Okay, hate's a strong word. I dislike about her because I'm like, I understand what she's doing. You know what
She's
I mean?
impulsive, yeah.
Yeah. But at the same time, I'm like, oh, don't do that, knowing what's coming. I'm like, knowing you have like Ollie Masters that's gonna fall in love with you and love you. Like, don't do
And this is one of the books where I knew what was gonna happen, and I was still like, "Please don't do that. Don't like, we could have a better outcome if you don't do this." And I feel like it's like, that's good writing, that it makes you feel like that.
Yeah. Have you read anything else by her?
I read the, Hollow Heathens.
Yeah, I read that too. Did you listen to the audiobook or
I listened to the audiobook.
I think I before I read Bone Island, which I think is like the second, it follows one
Mhm.
of the other guys. I kind of want to go back and do a reread of that one because I thought that world was actually really cool. But that's all I've read by her. Is that all she has
I
out?
think that's all she's written.
Why do I feel like
Because she's supposed to have Ethan was supposed to have a book, and then I think that got kinda thrown out.
oh, okay. Yeah, this is all she has. Yeah, she has Ghost of Nova's Grave, which is I think she's doing like a thing with someone else. Like a interconnected series, like one books by different authors. I think it's that.
And for some reason, I think she was supposed to be doing something with Lucia Franco at one point, and I think something happened with that. I'm almo
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
I'm almost positive.
Yeah, I really like her writing because Hollow Heathens was like that too. It was very like intense writing. Like she writes very descriptively that you can picture. Like
It's
I
very
don't know. Someone asked me for like a Q&A, like, do you when you read, do you picture a movie? And I was like, well, it depends on how the author, like writes it. Especially if you listen to the audiobook, the narration sometimes can like make it even better. And when I re-listened, I was like picturing like that cafeteria scene exactly like a movie.
Yep.
How did you feel about Zeke when we met Zeke in the first book?
I didn't know how to feel about
Okay.
him. Obviously, by the end of the second book, I was really sad. No, I loved Zeke. I'm not sure if I loved what we find out about him, how, like, that is tied in really quickly because I feel like it came out of nowhere,
Hmm.
which is going into the second book. I'm not sure if we're there yet, but I just felt like that felt kind of random.
Yeah.
But besides that, I love Zeke as a character.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that he doesn't speak.
Yeah.
When him and Ollie bust out the sign language, I was like, what is happening right now?
Yeah.
I did love that. Also, when Mia sits down with him, because she like sits by herself for a
She
while.
uses him as, like, a journal up for a while. She just
Yeah,
tells him everything, and then you
yeah,
find out that, "Oh, wait, he can communicate with people."
yeah. Like he's listening, he just
Yeah.
doesn't want to speak. Which I found that was really cool. I'm trying to think of some of the other characters. Oh, what did you think about Isaac? Ollie's friend?
Which one is that?
Oh, is that from the second book? It probably is from the second book. He in that specific part when they all are hanging out in the room and they all get drugged.
Oh. Yeah, no.
I was not expecting that from
I
Isaac,
wasn't
though.
expecting that at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's all the main points of book one, besides the end.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I did take notes while I was reading this.
I wish I did, but I was like so intrigued. I was just like listening. I was like, I love this.
Oh, it was her sleeping with Liam, I thought was like so
Oh,
that part
yeah,
really annoyed me.
yeah. Because you
Um,
could tell she regrets it, like after.
well, doesn't she tells everyone though, like at group therapy, and she outs herself just to like I think distance herself from Ollie,
Yeah,
but like that hurt. Um, yeah, I think that's it.
yeah.
For the
It's mostly just like knowing how intense their romance is and their love is, especially like over the 3 books. For me, it was just like, don't do it. Don't. That's all I kept thinking. I'm like, just don't do it.
Yeah.
But I feel like that brings, I don't know, it just brings a lot. It like really dives into Mia specifically and what she's going through and how she has to like basically hit rock bottom and then everything comes out, like how she basically is it. I think it's this book where she is put into the psych ward.
That's when she breaks.
Yeah,
I think that's when she remembers everything. Yeah.
yeah, and I was not expecting that either. When I know the first time I read it, I was like, oh wow, like
Yeah.
this girl has a lot going on.
Yeah. I think I forgot how many topics are covered in this book, and I was like, "Oh, like definitely check trigger warnings before you read this." I forgot how dark some of this book is as
Yeah,
far
but
as
at the end when Ollie is taking the medicine again, that broke my heart. Like we're going into the second book, but like that's the second book is my least favorite in the series. I do not like the second book
Okay,
as
so
much.
when I first read this, the second book was my least favorite, or no, yeah, second book was my least favorite, and then I thought the third book might have been my favorite. Now on my reread, second book is like right under Stay With Me, and I hate the last book
Really?
so much. Yeah, it's yeah.
I think so. I remember specifically when I was reading them back to back to back, I was like, I do not like the second book. It's not my favorite. I hate what she did. I don't understand. And then I read the third book and I was like, oh, okay. I can see what she was doing. I can see.
I feel like this third book, that's more of like a setup for if Ethan was to have his like next book, and it really sets that up well. But I just feel like it came out of left field, everything that goes on. But the second
Yeah,
book,
it was more like suspensey, the third book was,
definitely.
which is not my favorite, but I think the first time I read the second book, I gave it 4 stars. And I think on my reread, I stuck with 4 stars.
So you didn't hate it. It's just out of
No.
the three. Okay.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. I think it's definitely upsetting. It's more upsetting than Stay With Me. Like I had to take a break after I finished because I was just emotionally like
Yes.
wrecked and done. But there are some things in the second book though. Like I didn't understand Ollie with him taking the medicine. I couldn't tell if he was trying to stay away from Mia because he was on the meds or like what was going on in his head. I feel like towards the end he just decides I'm with her and he stops taking his meds, but like prior to that, I didn't really know what version of Ollie we were getting. It was so back and forth for a while.
Yeah, so the first time I read it, I was so mad because I was like, he doesn't have to be on the meds. Like, he can just like not take the pills. He can like find a way.
Yeah.
But I think it was more to show, like, if I'm thinking after I read the author's note, I'm like, oh, okay. I feel like Nicole was she wanted to put her experience in a book and like write a romance around it. And I think she did well with that, like as a whole, as a trilogy. But I think she wanted to show how some meds can really, really alter your behavior and really alter how you feel, how you react to things and stuff like that. So, like, while I hate that he took the meds, I understood why he did. But him trying to stay away, I was just like, you can be with someone and still be on meds. You know what I mean?
I think that was more it. It was the fact that yeah, that he took the meds and then he just decided he was kind of like done with her.
Yeah.
And he even mentions like, "Oh, you slept with my brother. Like I have no connection with you anymore."
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just
I feel like he used that as an excuse
okay.
to push her away and be like, "I'm on meds. You slept with my brother." I mean, to be fair, she didn't know. She like literally didn't know. But then that's one of those things where I'm like, Mia, don't do it. In the first book, I'm like, don't do it. You don't
Yeah.
know what you're doing.
Well, that was when
Um,
Ollie's with the one girl and he's about to have sex with her. I was like, Ollie, what are you doing?
oh my, I'm so glad it stopped. Like, I'm so glad. I was like, I totally forgot about that until when I was rereading, and I'm like, please don't do it.
Yeah.
That's gonna make it go too far, too
Yeah.
far. How did you feel about Ethan and him being introduced in the second book?
I liked Ethan. I thought it
Okay.
was a good he could have well, I was gonna say he could have been a healthy relationship for her, but he definitely couldn't have been. But he seemed like a good guy at the when he's like comforting Mia, and I almost felt bad for him because honestly, Mia does kind of use him a little bit for
Oh,
comfort and healing, and he's like not like I feel bad for him.
see, it's one of those things where I'm like, I want to feel bad for him because Mia is most definitely using him. Like when she has her nightmares and he's just there to help her, and she's always like, "Ollie, like, is that you?" And he's
Yeah.
like, "No, it's Ethan."
But also
Like,
at some point, Ethan has to be like, this girl is calling out for this guy every single night. Like maybe I should give it up.
right? But at the same time, I'm like, but you're like letting yourself fall into that. Like you could take a step back and not go to her anymore and not have anything to do with her, not get into her BS and all the stuff that she has going on, but you're still choosing to. So like I didn't really feel bad for him in the second book. I was more annoyed because I was like, Mia, you know this is gonna get around, and it did, and it's gonna get back to Ollie, and it's gonna cause more drama. And I'm like, come on, just don't do it. Don't do it. That's what I
Yeah.
kept thinking.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah, Lizelle said, I want Ethan to get it. Like part of me, like, I don't know if I would read it. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I would because I think it was set up where, in the third book, there's a girl that's introduced that ends up going to that mental asylum, and I'm pretty sure that's where Ethan goes also. And I think it would be like their story of them together. I think her name's Leah. And like
Oh.
I'm all about seeing that relationship unfold.
But what if they're not like together? What if it's not them together?
I still want to see what happens to those characters. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm interested. And Tommy, the poor guy that's in jail that they have to break out.
Oh my god, Tommy. Yeah. So I feel like the second book was really okay. So the way I describe it is the first book, Mia. 100% Mia, 100% her growth and her character development and what she's going through. And I feel like the second book is Ollie, 100% his 100% his growth, coming to terms with taking meds. Like he was okay how he is, but it's coming to terms with taking meds and being okay with that and figuring out things and all of that stuff. The ending, like, skip the whole damn book. Like, I don't care about the rest of the book. The ending, oh, I was sitting highlighting quotes and I was like, is this really happening right now?
Yeah, I know.
Oh. So we are talking spoilers, just if you haven't. I know it says 18 people are watching. I don't know, but in the comments, will we be talking spoilers? Listen, when
Yeah.
I
The
can't even get it out.
the fact that like I didn't even know he was capable of talking, and then he says Ollie and Mia, like
That's when I lost it. That's when I was like, honestly, I'm glad I didn't listen to the audio for the second book because I physically
oh
read it.
god, it hurt. It hurt so bad.
I don't know if I could hear that in audio and be like, and still be able to like go on with my life. I don't know. Like, oh, that, does he have an accent?
Not that he's like whispering.
Okay, okay. I didn't know if he had like a British accent or not, but
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't think that he probably does, but he's like whispering it and like, oh, it's horrible. It's horrible.
um, was it
What
who
did you
was
think
the
of
one? Who was the one who did all that?
Bria?
That's who. Okay.
Maddie slash Bria, whatever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. I was blanking on the names and I was like, what? Why can't I think of the name?
What
So
did
like
you think about this? Because like the first time I read it, I was like, ooh, that's didn't see that.
yeah, part of me like rereading it the second time, I didn't like look for clues. Like I knew it was coming, especially with like Maddie, but I felt like that was like too much. I don't know. I felt like I don't know. Part of me is like you could have done it without it. Like there was already too much or so much drama in the second book and stuff that we didn't have to have that. But I mean, I guess it kind of introduces Tommy back into the picture.
It does, yeah.
So it goes to the third book, but oh man, that Zeke thing when he was like Ollie and Mia forever.
And he tries like putting the paper rose together prior to that because he's like, that's gonna fix them. And it's just like he's so good at that entire book for it to end that way was just absolute
He is
misery.
such a sweetheart. Oh my god! But the way that he was there for Ollie and Mia, like,
Yeah.
like I feel like he was like the one person that just like stuck by them and was like totally like Jake was pretty okay with them, but
But he
I
also
just
does give her the silent treatment when
yes,
her diary comes out. So
yeah. But at the same time, I'm just like, oh, he was like the one person. I'm like, now he's gone. Like, what are they gonna do?
yeah.
Oh my god, that oh yeah, Lizelle. Oh my god. There's just certain parts of books that like I remember, and I knew that was coming. I think I texted you or
Yeah, I
messaged
messaged you.
you.
I did not remember it was coming. I remember rereading it and Zeke, Ollie's talking about how he's gonna like live with Zeke and Mia. And I'm like, oh, that's so cute. Why don't I remember that happening? I was like, wait, what happened? And I just completely blocked it out. And then I got to that like they're in the room, and I was like, oh no, he dies, doesn't he? And then we get to that part, and I was like, no.
Yeah. Yeah. That was yeah, that was really rough. It was yeah, that broke my heart, honestly. Now we'll go into the third book because I feel like that had a lot of stuff happening. I didn't reread the third book. I didn't get to reread it for the live show, which I really regret that I got really busy. So I'm so sorry. So I don't remember all the details. So Jess, you're gonna have to talk
That
me through this one.
that is totally fine. But
Okay.
yeah, I didn't like the third one nearly as much as the rest of the series. So we're starting off with Mia being kidnapped by Ethan, and in the beginning, Ollie kind of agrees that she might have run away. And I'm like, after everything we have been through, the fact that you are even considering that she left of her own free will just is ridiculous to me. So I was so frustrated with him.
Yeah, the ending of like the very end of I think it might have been the epilogue when he was like, meet me here. What is it like
Yeah,
3 p.m. or something like that? And we'll be out, we'll be done, we'll go. And I remember that's in my head. I'm thinking, oh, I forgot that's how the third book starts. I'm like, I can't deal with that right now because I thought I was gonna give myself like a day before I
yeah,
dived into the third book, but I was like, I can't with this.
yeah. So then, like, Ethan takes care of her, and then he just kind of like goes off, and she never tells the cops or anything, which I also think is kind of weird. Like, he did kidnap you.
Yeah, I think it was when I remember reading the third book thinking, one, Ollie, what the hell are you doing? Like, why are you not like I mean, he was searching for her. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But she kind of like lost all of that hope like
yeah.
over the time because I think it was a decent chunk of time. Wasn't it like 2 months or something?
I think it was like 3 weeks, 3 weeks or 4 weeks.
Why did I feel
But
like it was so much longer?
then she goes and lives with her dad for a little while, and he finds her there, and she's like starting to cut off from him. And he's like, I'm gonna come here every day. I'm gonna win you back. And then he just drives to her dad's house every single day until eventually they fall in love again.
Oh, okay. I do. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I looked at my rating because I couldn't remember what I rated the third book, but I rated it 5 stars. And now I'm
I
like,
I liked the story. It's just they get into this whole like gang plot line, and Ollie needs to like use a virgin to kill a gang leader, and it just becomes really muddled.
wait, what?
You don't remember this?
No.
Yes, no. So his he's like called, I forget what he's called, but he has like a gang name, and he's trying to get out of the gang, and the gang leader is dating Ollie's mother, and is like, if you do this hit for me and you kill this person that's also I think like in the prostitution ring or something, then you can be out of the gang. And he's like, okay. So they're working with this virgin, and I actually have in my notes because at one point Ollie calls Mia and was like, I have to there's a girl in front of me. I have to test if she's a virgin or not. And she's like, it's okay, you can do it. And he's like giving her details. And I was like, you don't need to tell her that. You don't need all of this information.
Okay, I do remember the phone call, but I do remember that everything like surrounding. All I remember from the third book at the end was him getting published, like finally getting money.
That happens at the beginning of the third book. He's published.
Oh man. Okay.
Yeah. And then his mother's like taking care of the girl that they're going to use in this trade. Then the girl tries to kill Mia, and then Mia thinks about killing her, and while Mia has the knife to this girl's throat, calls Ollie and is like, I want to kill this girl. And Ollie's like, please don't do that. And the cops come and they take that girl to the reformatory college.
Is that Leah?
Yeah.
So what did you rate the third book the first time and then on your reread?
I think the first time I rated it like 4.5. I think 3, if I'm being generous.
Oh. So you feel like it kind of ruined their story?
Yeah. And then, do you remember the very end that they have a baby?
No.
Oh, yeah. So then it turns out that Mia's she doesn't think she can get pregnant because they tried for a month and it didn't work. So she's decided she absolutely cannot have a baby. But then she does get pregnant. And then we think Ollie dies. And it's set up very much in a way that, like, Ollie, like, there's no reason to think he's not dead. And then he's just standing in, like, the baby nursery. And they name the child Evermore, which I just think is a very interesting name.
Okay, I do remember, I think it was like the epilogue where it's like alluded to that Ollie's dead, and I'm like, this can't be happening.
Well, I think he gets shot in the side or something, because he kills the entire gang, essentially, by himself.
I feel like you saying the plot, I'm like, I'm kind of glad I didn't reread it.
I forgot, like, all of it. All I remembered was, like, her being kidnapped by Ethan and then falling back in love, but I forgot all of, like, this gang stuff, and it just doesn't fit the rest. It's not the same vibe as, like, the rest of the books.
Yeah. I wish, I kind of wish at the end of the second she wouldn't have, like, they would have just met at 3 p.m. He got published and she, like, did a little novella. Do you know what I mean? As the third book. It was just like, yeah, he's published. I have to win her back. Or not even do that part. Like, I don't know. That was a little weird.
Well, that's what Ethan, I think he shows her, like, an interview of him being published, and he's doing, like, a tour, and he's like, see, he forgot about you. He doesn't even care.
Oh, yeah, I do remember that part. Yeah. I don't know. That's bizarre. Because I remember, I thought there was, like, at least a decent amount of groveling.
From Ollie to Mia?
Yeah, like, he's like, oh, I'm going to drive to your house every single day. Like, I remember groveling.
Yeah, no, he does. He does that for, like, until they eventually, he's fine with it. I think it's probably, like, a month, maybe, that he's driving to the dad's house. And then we get to find out about the stepmom and, like, why the stepmom actually hated her and, like, all of that stuff.
Yeah. Well, I will say probably my favorite is still the first book, honestly.
Agreed.
Yeah. Well, I'm sad that the last book was like a 3-star reread for you.
I love the first 2 books, and honestly, the first book is probably one of my favorite books, like, of all time. So
yeah,
I'm happy I got to reread that.
I do think, honestly, because this book's not, I mean, it's long, it's like 350 pages. I do think that she could have put Ollie and Mia's story without all of the extra, like, drama and stuff like that into technically, like, one book, even a duet. Like, I think that she could have, without the bizarre plot lines, you know?
Yeah, probably.
Because I don't remember Hollow Heathens having, I mean, the whole concept is kind of weird.
Of Hollow Heathens?
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that book is more like, I don't even know how to describe it, like, aesthetic, kind of. Like, it has, like, a very, like, haunted, like, vibe. It feels very different from that.
Yeah, like, it reminds me of the same vibe of Gothicana.
Yes.
Like, very spooky, like you would read in, like, a fall night or something like that. That's exactly. I think I read it during the fall.
I read it this fall.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
But now I want to reread it because I wonder if I can't remember if she had any bizarre plot lines in that one too.
I don't remember specifics. I just remember, can't they like, don't they have masks that they can't take off?
Yeah.
Is that, yeah.
Like, it's kind of fantastical and magical and kind of paranormal, but, like, not really.
Yeah.
It's very similar to
I was
Gothcon in
gonna
that
say,
way.
so pretty much Gothicana, but
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
did you
I
see
don't
the cover to cover has a special edition of Gothicana?
yeah, don't is the pre-order still open till, like, the 30th though, right?
Yeah, I just ordered mine.
How much is it?
It was 45 for just that, and shipping was free.
Oh, that's not bad, okay. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
It's
I
hardcover, right?
think it's paperback.
Oh,
That's the only thing, yeah.
I mean, cover to cover does have really pretty like, I got their Jennifer Hartman stuff.
This is the first thing I've ordered from them, but I saw that and I love that book, so.
Yeah, I remember the pre oh, yeah, okay. Oh. Oh, the whole Salacious Players Club is $85 though.
Yep.
Interesting. I don't know if I'll order that. That's a lot.
Lizelle just commented,
Oh,
and I thought the same exact thing, that Ollie was 100% dead. And I've actually seen people speculate that he did die and like she's seeing him and he's not actually
oh,
there, because they say that they tried to get pregnant again and they couldn't. So what if like he did die that day and like that's just their like miracle baby and she's like envisioning him.
oh my god, that's so sad. I can't even think about that. That's too much. I don't know.
I read that and I was like, oh no, like that could work, but also that's so sad if that happened.
So from what I remember, the masks, there's something that they have to wear. It's like four of the guys. There's four guys.
Yes.
They all wear masks. And something about the mask, if they take it off, like something happens to them. If you look into his eyes, that's what it was.
And I think they're cursed because it's like different witch covens, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I remember. But like it's been a little while since I read it.
I think I remember the reveal, like the big twist at the end, but I don't remember like any
No.
of the little details.
I don't even remember the twist. I can't even think of the twist. And then she goes to stay with this old guy.
Her grandfather.
It's your grandfather. Yeah, okay. This old guy, and she's in this house. Oh, I remember the end. Something happens with him.
The only thing I can say with this is I was very frustrated with the main character because like magic happens and she can't leave and she's just like, "Oh, that's a thing. Okay." And just accepts it right away. And I was like, "Wait, what?" Like,
Because doesn't she try like driving, but she like can't leave?
I can't leave. And she's like, "I guess I'm stuck here." And I'm like, "That is not a normal reaction
Yeah.
to." Yeah.
I was looking up the details. So for Gothicana, it's foiled and textured title, foiled texture chandelier, colored pages, word art, and you get the art print separately too. Ooh. I do wish it was hardcover though. Eh.
I mean, I also the original cover is also really pretty. Like just
Oh yeah, oh yeah. It's one of my favorite covers. She did an original Runex did an original like special edition with the people on the cover.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she did that a while ago, but it was like specifically for like through her. She designed it and stuff and had someone, but there was like limited amount of people who did it, and it was
Oh,
expensive to buy it because she was doing it all herself. But I might buy that one because $45 isn't bad.
it's not terrible for a special edition, I feel like.
I just have so many special editions. I'm like, do I need another?
And then I forget that I buy them and they show up because they always take months to arrive. And then I'm like, oh yeah.
The Dark and Quirky box with Blindside and Heartless and the Nivaltage book. I got tracking information and I was like, what is this? I don't know what I ordered. Like I had to go search and I was like, I thought I got this box already. Like, I don't know. I texted Jess. I'm like, did you get shipping notification? She's like, yeah, it's this box. I'm like, what freaking box? I'm like, what books are in here? What did I order? I totally forgot. And then they showed up and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I ordered that.
Yeah. And Brandon's like, you don't even remember what you ordered? I'm like, hey, listen, I ordered this back in November. Don't fault me for it being April and just.
That's the one good thing I can say. Anytime a package arrives, I'm like, look, I ordered this months ago. Like it was a different time. It just took a while to get here.
Yeah, exactly. I thought this read along though was fun. Like,
Agreed.
it's always fun to reread, like, your favorites to see if it's, like, really your favorite, you know? We should do another series sometime.
I'm down.
I'm just trying to think of a series that
I want to reread. I know it's Flock at some point. That's on my list.
oh, I don't know if I could do that. Oh, man. Oh, I
You want
think
to try though? It's like
oh, I think was it I was talking to Sam. There's certain books, like, I love to reread, and then there's certain ones that just destroyed me that I don't know if I could ever actually reread. Like, I could read Flock and I could read Finish Line, but
not Exodus.
I don't know if I could actually reread Exodus.
It's my
Oh,
favorite. It's my favorite in the series though.
oh yeah, no, don't
Oh
get me wrong. I
good.
love it. She was supposed to write a novella from Dominic's point of view.
She the special edition has a I think it's like novella length that she's just put out. Did I
I
buy
don't know
that?
if I could read
Did I
that.
buy that? Yes, I did.
But I don't know if, like, I could read that knowing.
Rainy
Oh,
days.
huh?
I said rainy days.
Oh my god, sometimes when it rains and it's, like, raining here, I'll text Sam because she told me to read that, and I was, like, voice messaging her when I was reading that. Sometimes it'll just be a rainy day, and I'll just find a TikTok of that and send it to her, and she's like, "It's gonna make me cry."
And Joe Arden, like his voice too, because I think he narrates the audiobook. It's just so good.
I didn't listen, thankfully. You know, some books, like I say, narration takes it to, like, the next level, like Zeke dying in the second book. Like, if I listened to that on audio, I would sob. Like,
Yeah.
I would sob. So listening to those books again, I don't know if I could do that. Just especially Exodus in that part, because but I do love that series. That's a really good, unique series that I haven't read anything similar to that.
Did
What's
you like
another
the finish line? Because I know a
huh?
lot of people. Did you like the finish line? Because I know a lot of people don't like that book, and I thought it
Oh,
was
I loved it when I read it.
okay. Yeah,
Yeah. I thought it was cool that you can move on from something so intense, like a romance that was so intense, you can move on from that and still find another romance that's different and just as intense.
yeah.
I don't think that's giving anything away, but
No, but still, like,
yeah,
yeah.
I like that. I like that one. What's another series like that? There's very few series that I have that makes me just
I was gonna say there's not like the only other one. Yeah, no, not that I can think of.
hmm.
Besides, like the ones you guys just did, like Welcome to the Dark Side. Like that whole series is amazing. I don't read
Oh
a
yeah.
lot of. Yeah,
But like trilogies or like duets that follow the same people, like the same couple, that's hard to find now, I feel like.
The Confidence of Wildflowers is like the only one I can think of.
Oh, yeah.
And I know
That one
you
also was
didn't like the
very
second one.
emotional. That one
Um,
was extremely emotional.
oh, did you read it's Captor Captive, Monica James. That's a great one.
I read the first book and I thought it was like a 3-star read for me, so I never continued. But I have the audiobooks of the
It
second
got,
two.
the second one's my favorite in that series. That's really good.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, the first book I was like, this is okay. But I don't think I read anything by Monica James before. So
I think that's the only thing I've read by her, but that one was really good.
have you started Binding 13 yet?
No. I did not realize how big that book was.
They just get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Seriously? Wait,
Oh
where
yeah.
I have it somewhere. I like got the package and I was like, there's no way.
Yeah, I think the first book's about 500 or 600 pages. The second book's around that, and then Joey and Aoife's story is Saving Six and Redeeming Six. Saving Six is like 700 pages, and then Redeeming Six is about 800 pages.
It's a sports romance, right? Like I don't even know.
So it takes place in Ireland, and they play Johnny is the main male character in Binding and Keeping 13, and he plays rugby. He's a really, really popular rugby player. That's like he's technically in like I would say the last year of high school, like equivalent, because their schooling over there is different.
Okay.
She explains it at the beginning, like terms, but I can't keep up. But like you can like kind of opt into the rugby, like not professional, but like getting there. So that's what he's doing. And then Shannon, and they go to Toman, which is a like private school. Well, Johnny does. And then you see Shannon, there's there's a lot of trigger warnings, but at home she's being abused, and then in school she's being bullied. So her parents send her, or her mom sends her to Tolman. So that's when she meets Johnny there. And
Okay.
then Joey is her older brother that he's actually in public school, and he's 18. He's a year older than her. Well, no, he's 18. Shannon's 15. Johnny's 16. And then they turn 16 and 17. So it takes place over. Yeah, Binding, the audio I will say is really good.
Okay.
The accents are really good because there's like slang terms in the physical book. That when I was listening, I had to physically look at it because I read along while I was listening to the audio, which helped because I was like, I don't know what this word is, but it's a slang term and I have to see what it is. But there's part 1 and part 2 for Binding 13.
Oh, for the audiobook, it's that long?
Yeah, I think it's like the first one's 10 hours, the second one's 11.
Okay.
And there's Keeping 13, their audio is part 1 and part 2 as well.
Is it like emotional or because it's
Oh, yeah.
super? Okay.
It's not spicy, so don't expect like anything spicy or anything like that, but it reminds me of like the feeling I get with Ollie and Mia in the first book of how romantic it is that they are trying so hard to be together despite everything that's being thrown at both of them. So that series, but I will say I love Johnny and Shannon, but Aoife and Joey, they made me cry harder just because it's even more like emotional.
Yeah.
Ah,
Now
I
I'm
would love to
interested.
reread it. Huh?
I said, now I'm interested. Maybe I'll do that next month.
It's extremely just like it's heavy. Like, oh, I devour those books. Like I listen at like 2.5, 2.8 speed. And you have to slow it down, the audio, because of the accents. They're Irish
Yeah.
and they're heavy Irish accents. But
Did
I
you
slowed
listen
it
to,
down.
did
What'd
you
you say?
listen to Devil in Dublin?
Yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah.
not as bad. I
Okay.
think Binding and Keeping 13 are the accents are heavier than
Oh,
Devil in Dublin. Yeah,
okay. So
from
heavy.
what I remember. But just I slowed it down to like 1.75, which I never do.
Yeah, I normally start at 2 and then go up to like 2.53 depending on like what it is if I'm familiar with the narrator. So,
Yeah, because I went down to 2 and then I was reading along and I was like, I need to slow this down because I'm flying through it and I just want to sit with these characters for longer.
okay.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, maybe I'll definitely read that next month then if it's
yeah. But
okay.
they're like new adult age. They're younger, but
Yeah.
they don't act younger because they've been through like so much. So they act more mature than their age.
I used to hate New Adult, but I feel like A Million Kisses in Your Lifetime was kind of like I loved that, and now I'm a little bit more open with New Adult.
Yeah, there's certain I don't like new adult often, but if the characters are either they've been through things that make them feel more mature, or they just um they just act more mature because like in A Million Kisses in Your Lifetime, they're very, very rich.
Yes, they are.
So I feel like that one, they just I love them so much. I love that book. Oh,
Maybe.
it's hard to vlog that though because you can't talk about things without spoiling it. I don't know.
I've
Wait,
been doing like spoilery vlogs too, where like the first part I don't talk about the spoiler, and then
okay,
yeah.
but it does end on a cliffhanger, so
Okay.
yeah. Ugh.
And
There's not one character in that series I don't like. Like
and
every
how many books is it?
currently there's 4.
Okay, but is she still writing?
Yeah, so she does it like duet. So like each couple gets 2 books.
Okay.
So the first 2 is one couple, the second 2 is another couple. I don't know who the third couple is going to be. Like the last book didn't really give too much away, so she's a writing machine, I'll tell you that. But I think she lives in Ireland, so it's really cool.
Nice.
I
Okay.
would definitely watch that vlog. Mostly just like sitting here like ha 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 waiting waiting to see what you think, but
That's how I feel anytime I watch someone do a Court of Thorns and Roses vlog. I'm like, oh,
oh,
just wait until the second book when you start to
yeah.
cry. Like,
But this was fun. Oh, it's already almost an hour. Holy crap.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, this was so fun, Jess. Thank you for asking me
Of
to join.
course. We'll have to do this again soon.
Yeah, maybe in May. Well, it's halfway through April. May or June, we can pick
Or
another
June.
trilogy. Yeah.
Okay. Sounds
Trying
good.
not to overcommit myself with so much. But thank
Totally
you
got
guys for
it. Thanks,
watching.
everyone.
Yep. I hope you have a good day, good night, wherever you are. Jess is doing reading sprints soon on her channel for 24-hour fantasy romance reading dawn. Fantasy romance readathon. Oh my god, that was a tongue twister.
Thank
So
you for
yeah, you can
finding
go.
that.
You can go hop on her channel soon and join her. And is Issa gonna join tonight or no?
I think she's coming back for a little bit, yeah.
Okay, and Hannah. So yeah,
Yep.
thank you guys.